You always hear, always, in football, it's a business of reps and experience. It's a sport of reps and experience. You know that about the quarterback position. Everybody knows that. But it's also about reps together, right? It's not just individual reps. It's what happens with that experience over time with an entire group like quarterback and wide receivers. And in last week's Top 5 showdown in Tuscaloosa, there was great evidence that one team really broke the game wide open in the last 5 minutes of the third quarter because they had an experienced quarterback and wide receiver crew, and the opposition did not. Of course, we know Alabama's got the experience and Georgia doesn't. So let's take a look at what happens here. Alabama is down 4. It's 24-20 in the last 5 minutes of the third quarter, and they're inside their own 10-yard line. See, Georgia's got a great defense. So on their side, they're thinking to themselves, we can make a stop and create a short field for our offense and get a score and add to our lead. Again, Georgia is leading 24-20, but then it all changes. Here's what happens. The experience pays off for Alabama. They're inside their own 10. Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator, he calls a beautiful little play where you got two experienced guys at the top, including Jalen Waddle. They're going to have a little switch release that confuses the defensive backs. And because the inside release is wide open, the safety has to bite. It creates a one-on-one on the outside with one of the fastest players in all of college football, Jalen Waddle. And Mac Jones throws a perfect ball because he brings him just inside the numbers. It allows Waddle to stay on his feet and run for the end zone. This is a beautiful execution. Watch the confusion of the defensive backs right there. They look at each other and they're like, oh, who's got who? That little confusion creates the separation needed for Waddle to have a big play. Now, Georgia comes back. They've got the ball. This is a cover 3. That means that the 3 deep players, the 2 corners and the safety, have deep third responsibilities, their side of the field. But the corner from Alabama makes a huge mistake right here. He follows the outside post route inside. That means that out route, a little look back to the quarterback, then up the rail, and Jermaine Burton, a freshman wide receiver, is wide open, but Stetson Bennett underthrows it. Folks, that should have been a touchdown. He underthrows it. So now Georgia's still got to score. It's third down now. Burton again, wide open. Third down, move the chains, goes right through his hands. It's an interception for Alabama. So now it's 24-27. Bama is leading. And you've just thrown an interception and created momentum for the opposition. Bama would go down and score, and now all of a sudden it's 34-24. So there's a 10-point lead for Alabama. Georgia's got to do something, create a big play, and they do it. Jermaine Burton again, the freshman wide receiver. He comes wide open. Stetson Bennett overthrows him. That ball has got to be caught. Look at this. The coverage is not very good. They create the big play, and Jermaine Burton cannot haul it in because it's an overthrow. 2 plays later, guess what happens? Stetson Bennett gets forced out of the pocket. He ends up throwing wildly across his body. Alabama is going to create a short field by what? Turning the football over. A takeaway, an interception. Born out of the fact that Georgia's panicking and trying to create plays that they're not making on the outside. Then the experience again pays off for Alabama. Now it's Devontae Smith's turn. Mac Jones throws a beautiful ball. Devontae Smith makes an unbelievable catch in the back of the end zone. Folks, this is perfect coverage. You cannot cover this any better. It's just the experience of 2 veteran players for Alabama that are making a play. Now all of a sudden it's 41-24. So it happened that quickly, from 24-20 to 41-24, and it was all about the experience on one side and the receiving core and quarterback, and the inexperience on the other side. Look at that now. Mac Jones has been in the program for 4 years. This is his 8th start. He's playing football at a very high level. He's thrown countless passes to these receivers like Jalen Waddle, 3rd year in the program. Devontae Smith, 4th year in the program. Been making big plays since he caught that overtime touchdown against Georgia in the national championship from Tua Tagovailoa. These are experienced guys that over the years have thrown thousands of passes to one another. Conversely, on the opposite side, Stetson Bennett, he was a former walk-on, then goes to JUCO, then was an afterthought behind guys like Jamie Newman, who opted out, JT Daniels, even DeJuan Mathis. No one was talking about Stetson Bennett. And you've got a true freshman wide receiver that you're trying to create big plays for in Jermaine Burton. He's a 4-star, 8th best receiver in the class. But remember, these guys have probably only thrown some of those concepts 3, 4, 5 times to one another during the course of their career at Georgia. Experience pays off. And it paid off huge for Alabama in their big win over Georgia.
Start your Saturday strong at 10 Eastern with a legendary college football lineup on the Big Noon Kickoff Show. Big Noon Kickoff on Fox.